So after the recent Mortal Kombat trailer has dropped and all the fans have been buzzing about it, could a recent tweet from Greg Russo about a Street Fighter movie possibly be in the works? Back in January, Greg Russo, the screenwriter for the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie, posted a response to a tweet from Nerd News in regards to Street Fighter possibly in the next film to get the reboot treatment. In the tweet from Chris Chavez from Nerd News, it asks the question, with the new Mortal Kombat film set to release in 2021, do you think Street Fighter should be the next on the reboot block? Greg retweeted the tweet with, "Psst, at Capcom USA, hit me up." I follow Greg on Twitter and saw his retweet and retweeted his response with, "Looks like Greg Russo could be the go-to guy for fighting video games if he has his way." Greg liked my tweet and it got me thinking, could Street Fighter really be the next choice for a film reboot? So let's dive into some history about Street Fighter, its box office release, other video game releases that have happened, and what it could be like to have a Greg Russo Street Fighter. Released on December 23rd, 1994, Street Fighter, based on the video game of the same name, tells the story of General Bison, played by Raul Julia, the evil dictator of Shadowloo who captures a busload of relief workers and holds them for ransom. Colonel Guile, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, leads an international strike force to invade Shadowloo and rescue the hostages. Along the way, Guile recruits Chun-Li, a reporter and martial arts expert whose father was killed by Bison years ago, and two young conmen, Ryu and Ken, along with a sumo wrestler. So how does Street Fighter fare with the critics and at the box office? Well, Rotten Tomatoes currently has the film at a rotten 10% with an audience score of 20%. The critics' consensus for the movie says that though it offers mild entertainment through campy one-liners and the overacting of the late Raul Julia, Street Fighter's non-stop action sequences are not enough to make up for a predictable, uneven storyline. Those ratings and reviews were reflected in its box office earnings. On its opening day, it earned $3 million and grossed only $9.5 million during its opening weekend, ranking at number 3 behind Dumb and Dumber and The Santa Claus. During its second weekend, the movie dropped to number 7 and only grossed $7 million. At the end of its run, the movie grossed $33 million domestic and $66 million internationally for a total of $99 million worldwide. Following the release of Street Fighter, the video game franchise received 3 animated movie iterations and another attempt at a live-action film with 2009 Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li from 20th Century Fox. Released as a non-canon spin-off and theatrical tie-in to Street Fighter 4, and taking place before the events of the original Street Fighter, the movie follows the quest of Street Fighter character Chun-Li, played by Kristen Crick, and her journey for justice. The film co-stars Neil McDonough as M. Bison, Chris Klein as Charlie, Michael Clark Duncan as Balrog, and Black Eyed Peas member Taboo as Vega. This movie iteration fared worse in the ratings and reviews department, with it having a 5% Rotten Tomatoes score and an 18% audience score. The critics' consensus for the movie said that the combination of a shallow plot and miscast performers rendered Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li a perfectly forgettable video game adaptation. Its box office performance wasn't any better, with only making $13 million on an $18 million budget. Other fighting video game franchises have had similar success with their movie and TV iterations. 2009's Dragon Ball Evolution, which was loosely based on the Japanese Dragon Ball manga and anime series created by Akira Toriyama, made $58 million at the box office, but received poor reviews with a 15% Rotten Tomatoes score. 2009's Tekken had the best Rotten Tomatoes score of the bunch at 31%, but did the worst at the box office with $1.7 million on a $30 million budget. Virtua Fighter, while it doesn't have a live-action movie, had a 35-episode anime series that ran from October 1995 to June 1996. While it hasn't yet had a TV or movie treatment, Killer Instinct has had 2 comic book series based off of it. And finally, we have to talk about 1995's Mortal Kombat. Based on the early entries in the video game franchise and distributed by Mortal Brothers New Line Cinema, Mortal Kombat has the highest Rotten Tomatoes score at 48% and made $122 million worldwide at the box office on an $18 million budget. As far as the first film goes, it is the 7th highest grossing video game adaptation ever released in the United States, behind Sonic the Hedgehog, Detective Pikachu, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Angry Birds movie, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, and Pokemon the first movie. Unfortunately, its sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, tarnished that accolade a little bit, with it earning the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score at 2% and only making less than half of its predecessor's box office at $51 million worldwide. The Mortal Kombat reboot from Warner Brothers is set to release in theaters and on HBO Max on April 16th, and while fans are excited and hesitant at the same time, we'll have to see how it is received and performs at the box office to see if it can breathe new life into fighting game video franchises. So there's an important question involved in the Street Fighter reboot. Who currently has the rights to the film? Originally, Street Fighter was produced by Capcom and distributed by Universal, but in fall of 2018, Liquid Media Group acquired the rights to Street Fighter along with 65 video game properties for about $1 million. So if a Street Fighter reboot were to happen, I kind of have an idea of what the plot should be about. I think we should make Ryu the sole focus of the movie franchise, and the first movie be about Ryu defeating Sagat, who is in an alliance with M. Bison, leader of the Shadowloo crime organization. Ryu learns that his mentor Goken has been killed, possibly by Bison, causing Ryu to seek out revenge. Guile, Cammy, Ken, and Chun-Li, and the others would be met along the way, since they are also after Bison for reasons stemming from the Shadowloo, along with the other Street Fighter villains close to Bison like Vega, Zangief, and others. I also already have a sequel plot, where after Bison's defeat, Ryu learns that the person who actually murdered his mentor was Goken's brother Akuma. He sets out to find Akuma and avenge his mentor's death. Akuma, who is not happy with Bison for not killing Ryu, kills Bison and takes control of his minions and the Shadow Lu. Given the fans' reactions to the Mortal Kombat trailer, I think it's all possible that having Greg Russo on the Street Fighter Reboot project would be perfect. So Capcom, Universal, Liquid Media Group, whoever has the rights to the movie, what are y'all waiting for? You know, you're waiting for Mortal Kombat to come out and see what the reception is. I think the trailer gives you a good idea. It's already setting records in its release as far as the trailer alone. So hopefully, you know, come April 16th, if, you know, we may see some box office numbers. It's always hard to say since, you know, we're still in a pandemic and the box office is not what it used to be. I mean, one of my oldest local movie theaters here in our town closed for good. I think it was a Regal theater. So we have one theater left, and you know it's good, but I mean, there's a lot of theaters, you know, not being counted for as far as making revenue for movies. So that's, you know, one less detriment to the movie. So it's going to be hard to see if, you know, this can actually make more money than like the $4 million, you know, norm that we've come to have with us going through the Rona. Now, as far as HBO Max goes, if HBO Max is able to get more subscribers, and that shows Warner Bros. That the movie is successful, then of course we could get a sequel. So maybe we'll have to wait and see if those numbers come out as far as box office, subscriber counts, and if a sequel is announced, maybe then we'll get an announcement of a Street Fighter reboot, at least being in development, and maybe Greg Russo will be attached to it. So what are your thoughts on a Street Fighter reboot? What do you think about the history of the movie? If you've seen the movie, what are your thoughts on it? And what do you think about the idea for my plots for a movie and a sequel? Love to hear your thoughts down below. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, hit that like button. For movies like this one, make sure to hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys next time on The Mashup.